I'm Gary York. Thank you for watching my YouTube channel, True Prison Stories, and please subscribe if you like this video. We tell true prison stories on this channel, and we also do some training videos from time to time with some of my fellow colleagues, and sometimes we just do straight prison talk. And today we're going to do some prison talk, and I've been asked questions by a lot of people that don't know things about prison, asking me questions about inmates in prison. So today's topic is misconceptions about inmates in prison. One of the questions that is asked to me is, why don't inmates work? Inmates don't work. And I said, that's not true. That is false. We have some inmates that are physically unable to work, obviously. Permanent physical injuries, illnesses, some things that are causing them to be near the end of their life. And obviously we're not going to put them to work. We have some inmates on death row that we can't put outside or inside to work. And we have some management problems that we cannot allow to work. Inmates that will harm other inmates, inmates that will harm officers or prison staff. Obviously we're not going to put them out there to work. But a rough estimate, about 80% of our inmates do work. And there's many jobs where we can start from the inside. Many of the inmates are assigned as housemen or housewomen if it's a female prison, where they clean the dorm and clean the living area that they sleep in. Obviously, that is a good thing. We do not want to spread disease and germs, and they don't want it either. They actually enjoy and they like cleaning their dorms. We have inside grounds where the inmates work and clean the prison compound, clean and around the plants and mow the grass inside and clean, keeping the compound looking nice. We have inmate electricians who work with a civilian supervisor who is a certified master electrician, and they go around the prison taking care of the electrical work. We have inmate plumbers that work throughout the prison, keeping the prison plumbing going. They are with a certified civilian supervisor, certified master plumber. We have inmates that actually go out and work the sewage treatment plant with another civilian supervisor who is certified in that type of work. And many of the inmates have completed that sewage treatment plant program and got certified while doing it, and actually got out into the real world and got them a job with the county or the city and make a living, which is good. We have inmate painters. We have inmate block layers that help build some of the buildings in the prison. And misconception number 2, the inmates are forced to work and do these labors for the state. Well, they're not forced to. Believe it or not, classification asks the inmates on some of the documents, do you have a trade or a skill that you're good at? And they ask first who wants to volunteer, and they normally always get enough volunteers to do the work. Why? Because of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of inmates I've interviewed, they say, look, some of the jobs pay, some don't, but it gets me out of the dorm, it makes the day go by, it makes the time go by, and it keeps my skill level up. So when I get out of prison, I still have that skill. If somebody's doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years in prison, and they're a block layer, electrician, or a plumber, and they don't do that job, they lose a little bit of that skill. And you know what? These inmates are very smart, many of them. They actually want to do these jobs willingly and not forced labor, so that they can keep their sharp, keep their edge on their trade. So that's another misconception. That was number 2, that they're forced to do these things. Number 3, why don't inmates help in the communities and help work? Well, that's a myth also. We have many programs where the inmates come in and help. We have the Weather Flex program in some states where inmates go out and help the poor or the indigent get their homes fixed back up and painted, and carpentry and those block layers we're talking about, and things like that. They help these poor people, which is a good thing. And guess what? The inmates told me it makes them feel really great. We have inmates that help with the eyeglasses. We have many eyeglass shops where citizens donate old eyeglasses. The inmates fix and repair these eyeglasses so that the indigent people, people with no money, can use them. Elderly people that don't have enough money for the darn high prices of medication and glasses and all these things now that we go through, they're helping these people. They go out and they build ramps, and I've seen it done myself. Squads go out and build ramps for wheelchairs for the indigent and elderly people, and build these ramps with rails so they can get up and down out of their homes and things like that. All good things, and the inmates tell me it makes them feel good at night when they're done. The day has gone by much quicker because time in prison, folks, is very slow. No, I've never been an inmate, but I've worked in the prison, and even for me, I get to go home at night. The time was very slow, so it's very tough to, go one day at a time, slow motion for these inmates. They need things to do, and it helps their mind, it helps their body, it helps their spirit. If you don't believe that, you should research it or go interview inmates like I did for 12 years and see what they have to say. Also, Bright for Sight was the thing. I couldn't remember the name. Bright for Sight is one of the names of the eyeglass programs. Another thing that the inmates do is they train canines. They train dogs. They train guide dogs for the blind. We have that here in Florida, and many other states have that. We have programs that train dogs for post-traumatic stress syndrome. All those things for people that need dogs for comfort or for the blind, for anything. The inmates are training those dogs. Now, I've interviewed those inmates as well. I've talked to inmates who have trained dogs. They said it's just great. I've got a companion, something to take care of, and I take these animals, and it gets to sleep next to my bunk at night and have a little bed for the dog, and many of the inmates get to have the dog right next to them. Of course, they have a special dorm for these inmates. And some inmates don't get to sleep with the dogs. They have to stay in the kennel, and they go back to their dorm, and some do. So it's a great program for the animal, for the inmate, and for the people who will receive these trained dogs. It's just a great program. Here in Florida, we also have a horse program where inmates train horses or take in horses that need homes and get them trained and calmed and beautiful and healthy, and then they adopt these animals out, and they love it. They just love it. So those are 4 or 5 misconceptions about inmates not working. You get that a lot, And then you get the other extreme, that inmates are used for slave labor. But that's a whole nother story. Many people are unhappy that they're not unhappy about them doing some work. They're unhappy about them not receiving enough pay. But you know what? That's a whole nother story. I did another video on that before. If you're interested in that video, put a note at the bottom and I'll tag that link. I did do a video on my thoughts on inmate labor, but I just wanted to clear up these misconceptions and ask an inmate who does one of these jobs in prison if they don't want to do it anymore. Just go out and ask them, say, would you rather not do that? Would you rather not be on the plumbing squad or the electrician squad, or would you rather not be training dogs or horses? Would you rather just go back in your dorm and sit and sleep all day, 24 hours a day, and do nothing? Ask an inmate, and I think the answer you're going to get is no. I want to stay. I want to stay on my squad. I love it. It keeps me busy. So before you jump all over the fact that inmates don't work, take a second look. Ask the officers and ask the inmates. think you'll see a different side from what you've been hearing. Hope that answers your questions for you people who thought inmates don't work. Appreciate it. Please subscribe. Take care, everyone, and let's protect everybody behind the walls of the prison. That's the staff, the officers, the civilian staff, the officers, and the inmates. Let's protect everybody. Thank you.